So let's do another one of my popular singles point analysis. These are so much fun to do. You're going to learn about technique and strategy and footwork. Let's get right to it. Now, first, this video is courtesy of J Tennis on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to their awesome channel. I've put their link in the description below. All right, let's get right into it. Let's look at the serve here. So we got a lot going on here. We got a continental grip. One of the ways to know if someone has a continental grip is just look at their racket face. Notice how this player from UCLA has his racket open. His strings are facing up. That's a great indicator that someone has a continental grip. So you don't want your strings facing down, because when your strings are facing down and your racket's like this, facing, your toes, that's typically an indicator that you're using a forehand grip, almost like a semi-Western grip. So if you're a coach, look at the angle of the racket, not just the grip, but look at the angle of the racket to know what grip someone uses. Now, when it comes to your toss, it's a great idea to use a timer to see if your toss is too high or too low. And so a great way of thinking about the toss is to time it from the time the ball is at your head, and it's got to be between 0.6 and 0.9 seconds until you contact the ball. So here the ball is at the top of his head or around head level. So we throw a timer down and we see how long it takes for him to make contact with the ball. And so it is between 0.6 and 0.9 seconds. He's right at the end, that upper end of that range of acceptability. So we know that his toss is not too high. Now, when we watch him hit, look at that incredible pronation. So he's putting a lot of spin on the ball. And the way you know that is spin is created when your strings face in one direction and your racket travels in a different direction. So right now his strings are facing the box, but he's not swinging toward the box. He's swinging and carving like along, the back of the ball as he swings from left to right. And you can see the beautiful pronation. Strings are facing off to the right here. Textbook stuff from this player. The last thing we can check out are his feet. He lands well inside the baseline, but watch him move backward. He correctly moves backward, and you want to add this to your tennis. You always want to add a split step to your shots. Even on the serve, you want a split step. So after you serve, you should hop backward, and that's the split step while moving back. All right, let's look at the returner, because while we were talking about the serve, there's stuff going on with the returner. First, notice where he's standing. He's standing well behind the baseline, but watch his pre-movement. He takes a step forward. This is exactly what I do in my own game, is I take a step forward and then I split step. And you can see he's getting closer to the net. You want pre-movement, man. You want to attack that return. You don't want to be moving back as the ball is coming to you. You don't want to be standing still. You want to be attacking and moving forward with an aggressive mindset and aggressive weight transfer, attacking that return. So when the ball goes up in the air, take a step. So you can see that. The toss goes up in the air. So the returner takes a step and then he split steps. Now, the proper timing of a split step is to be in the air as your opponent hits the ball. So we can notice this. There's contact right there. Whoa, hold on, let me get this. There you go. Notice he's in the air. He's not landing his split step yet. Watch when he lands the split step. It's now. So the split step, the timing is to jump before your opponent hits, be in the air as they hit, and land the split step after. That synchronizes your brain and your reaction time with when your feet hit the ground. If you hit the ground with your feet as your opponent makes contact with the ball, you have to stand still for about 0.2 seconds before your brain actually recognizes where to go, and you lose the ability to break inertia and you just become flat-footed. So the proper timing on a split step in all situations, at the net, during a rally, return of serve, whatever, is to be in the air as your opponent hits and land after. Now, when it comes to a singles return of serve, it's a good idea to return down the middle. I like to tell my students, just cut the court in thirds. And when you return, just pepper the middle of the court. It's super consistent. And if you can get it deep, you can really pin the ball to your opponent's feet. Now, good thing the server moved back, because look where this ball lands. Ball lands about a meter in front of the baseline. And so if the server had served and just stayed where he is, man, does that ball land on his feet. So it is a good idea to move backward just in case the return is hit deep, and that's exactly what happened. Now, while I was looking at this video and just kind of in my mind getting some notes down of what I wanted to talk about, I absolutely fell in love with this one-handed backhand. We've got an Eastern backhand grip, which is quite easy to recognize. Look at his racket, though. There is no openness to the racket. The racket face is actually a few degrees closed, and that's due to a high back elbow. When your back elbow's up and your right arm is tucked in a little bit against the body, it makes it for a very vertical racket with the tip of the racket pointing up. That's going to make it super easy to keep the racket consistent or the shot consistent. Make sure the racket doesn't go like way back here. This is a beautifully hit backhand. You can see right before contact, he drops the racket down with both hands, which is what you want. You want to still keep the left hand or the non-hitting hand on the throat of the racket on a one-hander as the racket drops and all the way down to the bottom. You can see the racket face is closed. When the racket face is closed prior to contact, then your strings will face forward at contact. That is the key to consistency. Close your racket face. That's why it's so important you have an Eastern backhand that you can close your racket. And then the goal is to swing up the back, and look at this. This could not be any more textbook. This is called the left side of the letter V. If you are right-handed, you want the left side of the letter V. So obviously that is the left portion of a letter V. That keeps his wrist angle intact. That means he is not using any wrist. He's not rolling over the ball. He is making sure that he is gaining the consistency that he needs. And so if you're lacking consistency on your one-handed backhand, if you're right-handed, have the left side of the V. And if you're a lefty, have the right side of the letter V. Minimal wrist, super, super consistent. So he returns the ball down the middle. You can see the returner moves around this ball to make sure he gets a forehand. And this is a fantastic example of combining movement with a shot. So let me explain. The player at the top of the screen is going to crush a ball into this corner. But as he's preparing to hit this shot, he knows that he is going to go for that shot, so he's prepared to go forward immediately. Watch this. He crushes the ball to the corner, and watch how he immediately starts moving forward. Watch the guy in the red. He hits the ball, and then he immediately starts moving forward. Why is that? Because the 3 times to go to the net are serve and volley, when you get a short ball, and when you get your opponent in trouble. So he's expecting to crush this ball, immediately go forward, and he does get the opponent in trouble. You can see that he's hitting a slice. Nice, well-struck slice, by the way. You want to go toward the ball with both hands, and then after you hit, you can see that's when his left hand goes behind him. He goes high, low, high with the swing. Like on a slice, you want to go like this, which is what he does. Really nicely done. Ball's got some backspin. It just is going to give him time to get into the court. Maybe he didn't even know that this guy was coming in, because watch what happens. The player in red sneaks in, and now the player in red has options. The player in red can either hit the ball here, or he wants to hit the ball back here. Let me explain. If you hit the ball into the open court, it would be incorrect. Let me actually make that red to signify incorrect. It would be incorrect to hit this ball deep if he is hitting it into the open court, you know, the court where the opponent is not standing, because the opponent's moving this direction and he can easily get to that ball and then go for the pass down the line. So if he's going to hit it cross court, he needs to volley short. Anytime you volley cross court, you need to basically end the point. Otherwise, the opponent gets to it and passes you. So cross court volleys have to end the point, which means they have to land in the box and they have to go off the court at an angle. But you can also hit the ball down the line. And if you hit the ball down the line, you can actually hit deep or short. So he hits the ball down the line, wrong foots the guy. I'm actually surprised. I thought the UCLA player right here in the white and blue, I thought he could actually put his racket on the ball. And then the last thing I want to show you, this is a really small detail. Look where this guy is holding on to the racket. Look where the opponent is holding on to the racket. That's what high-level players do. High-level players, when the point is over, they let go of the grip and they hold on to the throat of the racket. It's just a nice, easy way to relax your hand, let the tension out of your body, and be prepared for the next point. Now, if you would like me to analyze your match play, go to 2minutetennis.net right now and sign up for a Zoom private lesson. This is where you and I meet live on Zoom, just the two of us, and you send me match footage of you playing a set, a match, a tiebreaker, or an 8-game pro set, doesn't matter. And I'm going to take you through point by point, shot by shot, and show you how you can improve your footwork, your shot selection, your court positioning, your tactics and strategy. This is going to help you so much, especially against players you struggle against. Play a match and record it.
Play a match against someone who you rarely beat or almost have never beaten before, and I'll show you exactly how to beat them. I'll even show you their weaknesses and how to attack them. Go to 2minutetennis.net and sign up for a Zoom private lesson to improve your strategy right now. Well, at the end of this video. Now, if you're looking for people in your local area to play matches against or practice with, or if you want to find a coach who's close to you who can help you with your game, then use my link in the description and pinned in the first comment, playercourt.com/2minutetennis. When you use my link to sign up, you get 50% off. I know we went through a lot in this video, and I think there was a serve, return, the backhand, the approach, the volley. What was that, like 6 shots total? And there's so much, I had to go through it in my mind. There's so much to learn in just a few shots. Imagine what a Zoom private lesson on your strategy is going to give you. But when you look through and review your own footage, or you go on YouTube, go painstakingly through each idea. The server, after he served, he went into the court and then he went backward. Good thing he did, and that's what you want to do, right? You want to get out of no man's land. Your toss should pull you into the court, and then you want to get out of there. Because when you're returning serve, deep down the middle is a great strategy. I'm a big fan of down the middle, super consistent. If your opponent stays in, then the ball gets jammed at their feet. Super great idea. I love the returner, right? Toss went up in the air. He took 1 step forward, and then as the ball was about to be struck, he jumped. That synchronizes your brain and your reaction time, right? With when your feet hit the ground. So when you hit the ground, you can explode in any direction. The ball came right to this guy's backhand, so he turned. Left elbow was up. His racket was straight up and down. He kept the left side of the letter V. It was beautiful up the middle. This player moves around it, crushes the ball to this corner. He comes over with a slice backhand. This guy knows he just hurt that player, the server, so he starts coming in. He floated this ball back. Maybe he didn't even realize that guy was coming in. So he just kind of floats it right to him. As he's coming over, this guy hits behind him. It was such a cool point to look at and diagram, and I hope that you learned a lot that's going to help you with your game. Work on these ideas. Film yourself. If you want me to analyze it for you, I will, but you can film yourself and look through it yourself. And if you do, there's no doubt you're going to gain confidence, win more matches, and play much better tennis. This is Ryan Reedy from 2minutetennis.net. You got this.